AITA for telling my brother that he didn't need to share that his wife was in labor in my wedding? My wedding was days ago. My brother attended but his wife didn't. She was nearing her due date to give birth and she didn't come. The wedding was going well, till my brother received a call from his mill telling him that Sil was in labor. He told me he was leaving and my wife and I were fine with that, but the issue began after he had told one of the guests that Sil was in labor. Word spread out and suddenly, everybody was talking about it, which disrupted the event. Even my parents started calling and there was a huge fuss, which frankly was unnecessary if my brother just left in silence or made up some excuse. I contacted him later and expressed my grief and frustration with what he did. I told him how the news of his wife being in labor disrupted the wedding and caused my wife to feel like her day was ruined. He lashed out asking how any of that was his fault. I explained how he should have just left or made up some excuse to leave, but he said he didn't mean any harm and that he was in a hurry and worried at the time. He said it wasn't like he announced it and told me I disrespected him by arguing with him about it. We had a big argument and our parents sided with him and told me to get over myself, and are now expecting me to apologize. Edit, I just came back and started reading the comments. First comment: I appreciate the sarcasm, but in all seriousness, I did not expect people to come against me in this matter. I do accept my judgment but still am taken aback a little. The baby is obviously at fault here. Selfish jerk couldn't even wait until after the wedding to be born. What an awe. Told me to get over myself, and are now expecting me to apologize. Excellent advice. YTA. And your wife, too. I look forward to the follow-up post next year where you and your wife complain that the birthday celebration for your niece, nephew has ruined your first anniversary. YTA. What was he supposed to do? Lie to everyone? Tell his wife to hold it in? He came to your wedding during a time when his wife probably would have preferred he was at home. And you're butthurt because you think it ruined your special day, if your own brother's exceptional, amazing life event on the same day as your wedding ruined it. Then you and your wife have problems. YTA. I'm so over this whole, the wedding has to be the center of the universe for everyone involved attitude. Would your wife get upset with a guest who suddenly had a heart attack at the wedding? Or an allergic reaction requiring an EpiPen and trip? Shish happens. Even on wedding days. The ceremony was over. And it sounds like you were well into the reception. Your brother had his own stuff to be worried about at the moment. And he didn't exactly have time to think through every word he said. The day wasn't ruined. This was a cause for double joy. A wedding and a new baby in the family. It was, however, a little rude of your parents to stay at the wedding but make more than one call to your brother. They could have texted, stepped outside, or left as well, but only a little rude. YTA. What was happening to your brother was completely out of his control. Significant and scary. To ask him to conceal that in the moment because it stole focus from you is utterly narcissistic. I'm guessing if his wife was in a horrible car crash and medevaced to the you'd want your brother to keep his mouth shut too? You owe everyone in your family an enormous apology. YTA. So you wanted him to lie? Or just vanish without telling anyone? If your brother having a child causes you grief instead of joy, please seek help. You got married at a time that a close family member was expecting a baby. That people discussed that during the wedding doesn't ruin your wedding. I don't know what you expected of your brother. But this feels so petty. Sorry bud. YTA here. It isn't like he was clinking a wine glass going, "Excuse me. Excuse me all. I'll be taking my leave as my wife is in labor." Quote. Your notion of him having to lie to not disrupt the wedding is just too far out there. Your parents are correct. Get over yourself. Honestly. Nah, YTA. I get being frustrated by something like this, but he didn't do it on purpose just to mess with your day. However, why? Instead of getting upset when the news spread, why didn't you and your bride stand up and make an announcement and raise a glass to toast them? Doing so would have diffused the disturbance by getting it out in the open all at once instead of it rippling through the crowd. It would also have put the focus back on you two, the bride and groom. You could have been part of the good news instead of in competition with it. This was a missed opportunity. Updated ruling due to continuous infighting after the wedding. Excellent point by Maestri Master Yaop has forever ruined the day for the entire family unless they apologize and provide some closure. Dude. Apologize and fix it now or it will be hella awkward every single year when your niece/nephew's birthday comes around on your anniversary. These posts about stealing our spotlight just baffle me. I can't for the life of me remember a wedding I've been to where all we talked about was the bride and groom. All attention on them during the ceremony itself. The toasts and other rituals? Of course. But at the reception, I'm catching up with people I don't see often, talking about what's going on in our lives, etc. Brides and grooms are delusional if they think they should be our only topic of discussion. Why can't people just be happy for each other and not be so self-absorbed? It's your brother. You became an uncle too. Would you not be happy to hear that news? Why does someone else's happiness have to take away from your happiness? Emo, it would mean double the celebration. YTA, because he didn't announce it. It was happy news and you should have just congratulated him and moved on. YTA. His wife was literally in the hospital. It's not like they announced their pregnancy at your wedding. Was he supposed to not tell anyone why he was leaving? Are you not at all excited about the arrival of your niece or nephew? Or are you always this narcissistic? YTA. Honestly, it sounds like your brother made the smoothest possible exit he could. He didn't make a big scene. He quietly told you, your wife, and a guest, who probably saw him leaving and asked where he was going. It's not your brother's fault that guest spread the word and everyone started talking about that. He didn't ask for that. Lying on the fly, which is what your brother would have had to do to cover in front of the guest who saw him leaving, is a skill not all people possess. In addition, it's pretty difficult to think of a cover story on the fly when your mind is occupied, because you just found out your wife is in labor. For example, your brother did his best to leave quickly and quietly. He did not have a duty to lie. Sorry you married an adult who thinks her day is ruined if people aren't exclusively talking about her. But that's not your brother's fault either. Don't take that out on him. YTA. Good luck with a wife who lets something like this ruin her day. But it sounds like you're the same. So perhaps you deserve each other. You're asking him to lie for you. And if he'd left without telling anyone why, that might also have seemed rude and sparked comment or speculation. Unless you expected him to actually hush up the entire pregnancy for fear this would happen. Him leaving abruptly during the reception to be with his wife who was imminently in labor was bound to create some waves. It could have been delightful. You chose to react in a way that ruined your day. It's your life. So good luck with that strategy. YTA. If I was you, I'd have made the announcement myself. At my own wedding. My brother and sister-in-law are having their baby today. We could not be more thrilled to share such a special day with the newest member of our family. Quote, I'm 99.9999999% sure that your brother and his wife didn't plan this to happen during the wedding. He told one person who then blabbed about it to everyone else. If you're mad at anyone, it should be that one person. What? Your brother was just going to disappear and no one would have any questions then? That wouldn't cause a disturbance? Come off it. You need to see the reality of things here. YTA. You do need to get over yourself. The world doesn't stop just because it's your wedding. Your first phone call should have been a congratulations, not a calling out for something out of his control. YTA. Why, grief, and why was your wedding ruined by this? Get a grip. Get over yourself. This is correct. Both you and your wife, get over yourselves. YTA. YTA. This is a scarcity mindset. His happiness does not take away from and is not less than your happiness. There are enough days for all of us even if we have to share them. You have created negativity with your brother, his wife, your new niece or nephew, and probably more family and friends because you and your wife acted more like self-centered babies than the baby who was just born. 20 years from now instead of, "We were so excited when you were born. It was already the best day ever and then it got even better." Quote, you're going to be like, "You ruined our wedding because you chose to be born on my wedding day and stole my spotlight." Quote, I just can't imagine being so stuck up my own ass. YTA. YTA massively. He didn't do anything to ruin your wedding. Your sil was in labor and about to have a baby. He did his best not to make a scene and left quietly. I don't know if you know this, but having a baby is a pretty big deal, and the family is going to want to know right away. Think. You could celebrate the birth of a new family member on the most important day of your life. Isn't that great? Also, giving birth is dangerous. Yeah, most of the time things are going to be fine, but so much can go wrong which can lead to the loss of the mother, child or both. Many in the family, probably all, are really excited and concerned during this time. Get over yourself.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.